There's organizations like Man Up and Go. Jason Clement, who's one of the founders, is here today, who are lifting up dads and male role models in communities. Not everybody's going to have the opportunity to have their dad engaged in their life, but they might have an opportunity to have a stepdad or a foster parent or adopted father or a male role model in their community or a local business owner who can lift them up. And that's the work that folks like Man Up and Go are doing. Jack Brewer's here with his foundation, and Jack has been probably one of the leaders in the nation, along with Coach Dungy, of using their talent and their fame to lift up fathers and to lift up this crisis throughout the country. This bill will pour $75 million a year into organizations like the ones behind us who are doing the great work of connecting fathers, to equipping them with the tools to help raise their children. Senator Bean, Representative Altman, and the members of the legislature who worked on this bill, this is the kind of thing that is going to change the lives of children throughout the state of Florida for generations to come. Governor, thank you for being a leader on this issue. Thank you for your passion for this issue. And thank you all for being here today.
Well, thanks, Speaker. And I would note, too, so they did this, they did some other stuff, did a big tax package, which we'll talk a little bit about more in the ensuing weeks. But one of the things they did in the tax package, and this was not my idea, but I think it's a good idea, is starting July 1st, no tax on diapers. And so you saw, I got 2 out of diapers, but I've got 1 in diapers. And, you know, when inflation hits, you can't just stop doing diapers. It's kind of something you just have to do. And so so that's going to actually help a lot of families who have really young kids help to deal with really inflation that we've not seen in the past 4 decades. I want to, in a minute, bring up Coach Dungy. You know, when I became governor, first time we did the budget, there was some money in there, not like an earth-shattering amount, but there was money in there for some of the things that All Pro Dads is doing. And, you know, a lot of times when I look, some of these private organizations, you know, how much we should be funding or not, it's a question about whether that's appropriate, then what are they going to do with the money, all this other stuff. So there is definitely a high bar. It's not like we've never done it, but a lot of times we say, hey, that may be a good cause, but probably not appropriate to just have the state, you know, giving money in that regard. But on this one, I'm looking and I'm saying this is exactly what we need to be doing. And although we have different types of state agencies, at the end of the day, an organization like this is going to be much better suited to be able to actually get into these communities and make a big difference. And so, I think he called me. He's like, "Hey, I'd love you to do it." And I'm like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. We're good. It's important." And I really appreciate the job that he's done in doing this. I mean, obviously he could be doing a lot of other things, and but he's got a passion for this. And I think that when you're somebody who's doing the Lord's work, we need to be supporting that. And so I'm proud to be able to introduce today Coach Tony Dungy.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you, Speaker Sprowls. Thank you for this bill, first of all. This is going to be tremendous and be such a big help to fathers in Florida, agencies that support fathers in Florida. But I want to thank you for your example, bringing his girls out here today. It just reminds me, because this is kind of my field, and I used to bring my kids out here to work. And it was something that was important, so they could see where Dad is, be where Dad is. And my good friend Clyde Christensen is over there, and he can remember a story. Our first game in Jacksonville in 2002. My son Eric was 10 years old, and he came with me. They had a rule that you had to be 18 to be on the field. And so the security man came and said, "You're going to have to take that young man off the field." And I said, "Boy, that would be a shame that we don't have a game today, because if he goes, the rest of the team is going." And the security guy looked at Clyde and said, "He's not serious, is he?" And Clyde said, "Yeah, I'm afraid he's pretty serious. So if you want to have a game, you better let his son stay out here." That's an example. That's how important fatherhood is to me. I think the governor just demonstrating that today is awesome. I knew it was important. I had a dad who was around me all the time and supported me, and I thought everyone was like that. I got to my job in the National Football League, started interviewing our players, and I began to understand not everyone had that same blessing that I had. It really got driven home to me my first year here in Tampa when I got the job. legendary man here by the name of Abe Brown. Many of you here know the name Abe Brown. He had a prison ministry. He wanted me to go with him, and I went on the first trip expecting to see grizzled, hard, tough, older guys. And what I met were 19 and 20 and 21-year-old kids that looked like my boys. And I remember driving home from that trip and asking Reverend Brown, how do those young boys get here? And he told me, it's not socioeconomic, it's not racial, it's not education, it's none of that. 95% of these boys did not grow up with their dad. And that hit me. That hit me very hard. And shortly after that, we were able to start All Pro Dad and really try to do what we could do to help. But I'll tell you what happened today in this bill. Yeah, I got one element in there that. I think he's going to be okay. Yeah. That's a good sign, yeah.
Lock his knees up a little bit when he's standing there.
But it is just so important, and I just want to thank all of these men and women behind me, everybody who's been behind this, because it's going to allow groups like ours, people like you, to do great things for our fathers here in Florida. So thank you very much.
Okay, Jack Brewer, former NFL player, Jack Brewer Foundation.
Wow, thank you, Mr. Governor, Speaker Sproles, my brother, Tony Dungy, the man who I think all of us who had the opportunity to play in the NFL, he's like a father to us, whether we get to see him or not. I have to tell you, I'm pretty emotional right now. Looking at my boys. Come over here, boys. Some of these boys don't live with their fathers in their house. I was just at a juvenile facility in the Everglades about 2 weeks ago. I walk in that facility and see these boys with no shoes that can fit their feet. I look them all in their eye and I ask them, how many of you, there's 80 of them in there, how many of you were raised with your father? And only 5 raised their hand. I was in a prison in Moorhaven yesterday ministering to about 1,000 men in the penitentiary. And I asked them how many of them had their father in their lives, and I think we're almost at 90% fatherless. This is the crisis of America today. This is the civil rights movement of our time. And Governor DeSantis, you've just done something that the entire country needs to follow. You know, I drove all the way here. We left at 5 in the morning. I was at a prison until 7:30 yesterday evening. I drove 4 hours here. I got my suit in the bag because I didn't make it in time to put it on. But when I got up here, I said, you know what? I'm a dad, I'm a coach, I'm a father to these boys. I look like a father right now, right? I don't want no tie on right now. Do I have a tie when I'm coaching you? All it takes is what?
All you got.
All it takes is what?
All you got.
All it takes is what?
All you got.
What's 1 Timothy 4 and 12?
Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, love, faith, and in purity.
We can do this. Give them a round of applause. With bills like this and leaders like the men behind me, we can change this nation. Many talk about unity. but they're not willing to have the courage to go the extra mile, to be the voice of the voiceless. You know, the last verse in the Old Testament says that he will turn the hearts of the father to the children and the hearts of the children to the father. He left that message to us all because this is the answer. 71% of our kids that drop out of high school are fatherless. Over 90% of our kids that are homeless, teenagers, are fatherless. When we talk about mental health, our mental health issues are coming because we have fatherless children who are getting indoctrinated in our public schools. We talk about CRT and all these other things. Those are not our issues. Our issues are we are indoctrinating kids that don't have a sound household. And so this bill is changing all that, but this is a spiritual battle, and they cannot be fought with flesh and blood. You need a father, you need the order of God, and that is what this bill does. And that's why I'm so proud to be a Floridian. I'm so proud to be able to speak on these type of platforms, and I will continue to each and every day serve these kids. Just like this is my son right here, but all of them are my son. I feed them the same way I feed my son. We pick them up to school and drop them off the same way. And this bill is just not about someone giving you some money. It's about calling all you dads out there and you moms to hold your husbands, your boyfriends, your sons, your fathers, hold them accountable because they need to be reaching out to some other kids. We got 18.6 million fatherless kids in this country. In the state of Florida, we got over 700,000 fatherless kids. We can't fix this problem with just this bill. We need to work with our hands like Jesus told us to do, serving the sick, touching the brokenhearted, and visiting those in prison. We must all be held accountable, and it starts today behind the leadership of this governor that I love. In Jesus' name, thank you.
Thanks, fellas. Great job. Well, thanks, Jack, for all you're doing. You can see it makes a difference. Okay, Glenn Gilzine from our Central Florida Urban League.
Wow. Wow, if you're not motivated, if you're not excited after that, I don't know. Well, good morning. My name is Glenn Gilzine. The ultimate goal of our organization, the Central Florida Urban League, is to end generational poverty. And as I stand before you today, I'm proud to say that House Bill 7065 represents that monumental step to realizing this goal. Together as a community, we're building the foundation via education to provide the resources and opportunity our young adults and fathers take the steps they need to uplift themselves out of this never-ending cycle. With this bill, the state will be providing nearly $70 million towards funding programs which will help two interconnected parts of our society. It will help our fathers become more self-sufficient, active, involved in their families' lives, while increasing support for youth in the justice system at the same time. So when both a father and a mother is present in the home, families are stronger. Some fathers receive support from this bill will come from job skills training. My organization is evident that higher skilled, higher paid jobs result in an improved financial situation, which alleviates a major burden on the family. Other fathers and will benefit from mentorship programs, as Jack just mentioned, and the mentors will provide self-esteem, giving fathers the confidence they need to develop into loving parents. Also, this bill is critical in supporting children aiding out of the justice system, and for these youth, it provides increased amount of education support available to ensure that they receive every opportunity to succeed. I truly believe that education is the solution to many who face issues. I truly believe that education is the solution to many issues we face as a society. Education comes in many forms, but by empowering our fathers, our youth with the knowledge they need to better themselves and our community as a whole. I would like to close by thanking Governor DeSantis, House Speaker Sprouse, Senate President Simpson for their leadership on this bill. The hard work and dedication to our underserved communities will have a positive impact for generations to come. Thank you.